So for the first time since 2019's The Nothing, Korn returned with a brand new album here in 2022 called Requiem. This is definitely a lot different from what The Nothing had to offer, as The Nothing kind of brought back the not necessarily pure heaviness we were used to from Korn, but there was a lot more heavy moments than in past records, say after 2007's Korn 3. This only features 9 songs, so it's one of their more shorter albums that usually do get up from anywhere between like 12 to maybe 15 songs in this case. And throughout the whole entire album, all 9 tracks, you're definitely given a mismatch of just a bunch of different genres at its core, while still somehow sticking to Korn in some way. Now, with only having 9 songs on the album, there's very little room for error to please fans, I think, in this case. There were definitely 2 songs on this record that I wasn't really fond of, that I didn't like, and that was Lost in the Grandeur and Hopeless and Beaten. I just feel like even though they kind of keep that, same Korn formula, they don't really, have that atmosphere like most of the other songs. I just feel them to be the weaker songs on here, the weaker experimentation, I should say, as the choruses don't really hit as hard, and to me, those 2 songs are probably the worst Jonathan Davis vocals on this album, but, they might grow on me. I'm not sitting here and saying they're horrible, but of the 2 songs that I didn't like on the record, it was definitely those ones in one way or another. Then the only one I was very indecisive on that I found okay was Disconnect. It was cool in some parts, the heavier parts were nice, but again, I just feel like Jonathan Davis's voice wasn't that great. I'm not calling it terrible by all means, but I felt like throughout the rest of the album, there was definitely better vocal moments from Jonathan that really shined through, which include the ones of my favorite. Forgotten's a good kickoff. I really like the way it starts off with that bass line, and then Let the Dark Do the Rest was cool, and of course my absolute favorite, it made Song of the Year last year, that being Start the Healing. I think this was actually the perfect choice for the opening single, the lead-off that was, going to tease this record, because it really did attach me to what they were going to do, because I was like, oh, okay, this is a bit different from the last record. Even though we had kind of heard them do something like this before, it was pretty interesting to hear the more melodic song with the heaviness mixed in. I feel like that really did its job very well. Probably the only song that did it very well, but again, I have a lot of songs on this album that I like, so me saying that this does anything the best on this record doesn't necessarily mean that the rest were bad. It's just that of the 9 songs on the record, this is probably the one that I'm going to come back to the most. Then we have Penance to Sorrow, My Confession, and Worst in Its Own Way. I really like Worst in Its Own Way because it finishes the album off nice, and whereas most of the album has been more, I guess, positive in nature, this one is just saying, oh, this has happened in my life, and this and that, and, it's going to continue getting worse and worse as things go on. All of a sudden, it's got that negative feel as the album ends, and who knows, they have said that they're working on another new album, so maybe this next album will be a little bit more negative in terms of lyrics and stuff like that. I don't know, maybe they were setting that up. Maybe this is part 1 to some sort of album trilogy that they're doing. You know how sometimes Requiem, this, that, and the other, it seems like it's leading that way. But yeah, I feel like after The Nothing, it was really, really going to be tricky to follow it up, because The Nothing was such a better return to form than the 2 records before that I think that it was going to be very hard to kind of up it. And although this record is good, I would say I still like The Nothing better, but I've only heard this record twice, whereas The Nothing I've heard plenty of times. So again, maybe this record later down the line will start to catch on with me more, but for now, I think giving it a rating of 7 out of 10 will suffice up to this point. It was a good listen. There was some moments that I didn't really, enjoy that much, but at the same point in time, there was really nothing terrible that made me go, oh yeah, this is definitely bringing the album down. I think all the songs were good in their own way, but the couple that I mentioned that weren't my favorite, there was just an aspect to them where I didn't feel like they fit the whole entire atmosphere of the record. That is the main reason I made the decision to put them in the worst category, and I just didn't enjoy them as much as the others. So That's my take on this album. You can tell me in the comments below, what did you think of this album? What was it, your favorite, your least favorite? What are your favorite songs on the record? Elaborate a little more. Tell me what you like about it, dislike about it, and that's basically it. Stay safe out there, wear your mask, get vaccinated, and I will catch you all in the next one.